Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. When you are at zero, choose to rise. Now, I'm known for the international bestseller, Nice Guys and Players, and I'm known for what I talk about, male-female relationship dynamics. But I also have three works of fiction on the market, and one of those is a book called Starting from Zero. And Starting from Zero is about a young man who literally goes down to zero. And indeed, I started the book off at chapter 24, and then the next chapter was 23, and I kept counting down. And Starting from Zero was divided into three sub books. So the first one was Descent, the second one was Zero, and the third book was Ascension. So the thing is, he got down to zero, and it wasn't, and I wanted to write it in such a way he didn't use drugs or anything. It was just decisions he was making in his life, just different life circumstances got him to zero. And when he was at zero, it was just a bad time. He was just going through some things. He didn't have a job. He had fallen out with his friends, and it was just terrible. And within book Zero, there was two chapters in there. One was called Reflection, and the second one was called The Choice. Now, if you want to know what choice he made, even though it seemed obvious, there's more to the story. But the thing is, he made a choice and then got into the ascension. So whereas in the first part, everything is going bad and you need to get it yourself to see why it was going bad. Once he reached zero and made a choice, everything started going well for him. And I'll put a link for Starting from Zero in the description box. Now, here's the whole point, and because it's more than just a story to entertain, the way I write fiction, I want to educate as well. I just don't just write anything. Any story that I write is just a way to get people to think, to really think. And the reality is, many of us will go down to zero. It might be in myriad ways. It could be because we abuse substances. Could have been because we were abused. Could have been we were in a real bad relationship. We could have gone years just simply making bad life decisions. And we go all the way down. It can be tough for some people. Some people get to the point where they might even be homeless and no telling what. But they're still alive. They are still alive. You have to make a choice at that point. You have to make a choice at that point. Last week I talked about owning your choices. Your choices are powerful. You have to make a choice no matter what happened, no matter how you got there, no matter how many bad things happened in your life. You have to make a choice at that moment to rise up. That's the most important thing. Just a choice, not even anything else. But see, once you make that choice, once you make the choice, say, you know what? Yes, all this stuff happened to me. Yes, I feel bad. Yes, I went through some things. But I'm just going to go in the other direction. The 1 second you make that choice, everything started opening up for you. Now, is it going to open up like magic and everything is just hokey-dory right away? No, this ain't one of those movies. But what will happen, it might be just something very, very tiny, but you'll start seeing it. Well, first of all, before you even start seeing anything, just making a choice, you telling your subconscious, you telling your spirit, you telling your inner self, you know what, I don't want to keep living like this. I want to go in a different direction. All of a sudden, that takes the change right there. And, it could be very tiny. You might make that choice, and after wallowing for a long time, you might say, you know what, I'm going to cut my hair and I'm going to just get up. Like one of the things that my main character did, as soon as he made the decision to just get out of bed and start improving himself, he shaved his hair. That was symbolic. You might do something else symbolic. You might say, you know what, I'm going to stop using drugs at this moment. You know what, I might have to cut off all these people who have just been negative influences on me. You know, indeed, depending on the nature of it, you might have to move. But once you make that choice and make a change, or you take the first step towards that change, then everything else starts to open up. All of a sudden, you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though you're at a distance. All of a sudden, things that you didn't even pay attention to when you're out. Like, here's an example. Like, say you always had bad times on jobs, always getting fired. All right, and you get to that point, you don't want anymore. You might just step out and all of a sudden see a job opening someplace that you hadn't even paid attention to. You know, the things that you need all of a sudden come into fruition. All of a sudden, opportunities. All of a sudden, somebody you might not have talked to in years might have reached out to you. Even though I don't promote specific spiritual paths on here, hey, however you choose to worship God, that opens a door, because then God is like, oh, okay, now I can start sending some things their way. That's how deep it is. But you got to make the choice first. See, here's the thing. Nobody can force it on you. You have to make a decision like, no, I ain't putting up with this anymore. Nah, yeah, I went through that bad relationship. Yeah, that's a knucklehead. I want to get them back. Yeah, I've been fired unfairly from a job. You know what? Yeah, I failed in this endeavor. Okay. You make the choice to rise above that. And like I said, it's not going to be instant, but as you take one step, think about something. You take one step, it becomes 2 steps. You take 2 steps, it becomes 4 steps. You take 4 steps, it becomes 8 steps. You know, stuff starts to, your life, things start to get better for you. But in order to go down that path, you have to choose to go down that path. You have to make that choice. You can't get anything. I remember there was a guy, he told me back before I started any type of business, real business, he said 95% of it is just making the decision to actually do it. Then you can go in that direction. That's very important. When you get down to that 0 point, and really before you even get to that point, let me add something to that. If you see that you're going to 0, you can stop the slide. You can make a choice to stop the slide at any point. You can say, you know what, I'm not going that far. We're going in another direction. You know, we making that decision. So you have to do that. And this is very important, but choose to rise. Just make that choice and a different world will open up for you. So that's all I have for today. That's why I always say, keep rising. Keep rising, y'all. Peace and blessings.